Good morning. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the cloud and mobile markets are converging to where I think we've got an opportunity to rethink how we deliver products and services to customers. So before I start talking about some of the mobile successes and some cloud successes, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a history tour of architectures. I'm guessing that more than half of the room has no idea what mainframe computing is or has experienced it. Can I see a show of hands for anybody that's worked in mainframes? All right. Old timers. Me too. What about client-server computing in the 80s and into the 90s? Okay? I still have about half the room that doesn't have experience in those technologies. And they've probably experienced the web-based architecture, and then the evolution into software as a service, where truly, the infrastructure on the right side of that screen is the guts of the engines and the databases and the firewalls that protect the data, but it's a simple architecture. The customers love it because it's easy to access, their data stored in the environment that's on the servers, and it's run in a browser. So there's no code on the client at all, none. All HTML5 or standardized, etc. This is a pretty cool architecture. It works. It's what's driven the software as a service market, and companies like Salesforce.com have put it on steroids. So now we've got this new weird convergence where we have a little bit of cloud-based architecture, web architecture, and we've got a mobile architecture that's kind of controlled by some market, I'd call them marketplaces. Apple and Google, you have to register, they download the apps, etc. But now we've got all these applications on mobile devices. And it can be a challenge because we have different OSs, different versions of the operating system, different manufacturers. It's interesting. To the customer, they don't really care how the mechanism is delivered. But from an IT perspective and from an architecture perspective, it's been kind of convoluted. And I think the driving force is clearly mobile application growth. In July of 2013, Google hit 1 million applications and 50 million downloads. Apple, in October 2013, 1 million and 60 million download. So what's leading the change, and who are the top charts? First on the free side, Minecraft, Loppy HD, Surgeon Simulator, etc. Angry Birds comes in at number 31. On the free side, smash hit, Surgeon Sky, Guide Calculator, Angry Birds at number 9, or 5, and Netflix at number 9. Top grossing, Candy Crush. What is wrong with our society? I can just see the productivity loss in the United States tick down by 1 or 2 tenths. But the bottom line is people are downloading this for free, and there's in-app purchase options, and they're using them. So the data volume is massive that's coming from our servers down to the client devices, independent of the operating system. So there's some interesting applications out there. There are thousands of calculators, games, entertainment. Not as many business applications, but I think that's changing. I looked at one niche area, disaster recovery. I found 28 mobile applications, specifically for iOS at the App Store. What about some of the top SaaS vendors? Are they really saying what their motto is? And I'll give you the example of Salesforce.com. Their motto is no software. So where do they come in? Oracle's got 51. SAP, 96. Salesforce, 4. Amazon Web Services, 1. Ooh. How'd that get on there? No software. Have you ever noticed that in the App Store, Salesforce's logo is changed? It says Salesforce 1. And the app, the no software, logo piece is gone. And it's gone because Salesforce now has software on the client. In fact, millions of clients have been downloaded and multiple versions. They're kind of violating their initial model of software as a service. More mobile successes. I love this first one. Taser International. Great company. I have one. It's an awesome product. I'd ride with it on my motorcycle. So Taser's got a couple of different things that play into the mobile success. First off, they have HD video on their Taser devices that law enforcement use that can actually take HD video, low light solutions in areas. It's really neat. They also have mobile applications where police officers from all around the country can record information that's critical about a case or an issue and upload it to the cloud. So Taser is leveraging cloud computing and mobile computing by taking a product that's traditionally known for law enforcement that no one would ever suspect is a success in the cloud and the mobile. Nordstrom has moved to mobile payment devices with their clerks, their sales clerks. They have eliminated those bulky areas where you pay and you go up to a register. What does that mean for Nordstrom? More floor space for more materials. McDonald's just released an app, a mobile app, in December of 2013, and it's targeted at youth. And they offer specials to them. So there's a lot going on the mobile side that's really, really cool. This slide, cloud successes, I'm not going to talk a lot about it because these are the big players in the market. You all know about Amazon. How many of you are actually running products and services from Amazon? It's pretty big. It's pretty good. What about Windows Azure? Okay. How many are running Salesforce? Great. Salesforce is the leader that really drove software as a service, and Amazon and Microsoft came in as platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. The market's huge, and it's not a myth anymore. It's reality. And I believe organizations should actually leverage the cloud and then change their data integration model to make sure that you're doing live, real-time integration between cloud and on-premise solutions with encryption. So let's look at the limitations of our current mobile applications architecture. We've got on the top right, the vendor registers, build the application, the vendor registers the application, and the data interaction between the application itself. But they register it at the clearinghouse. 2, the consumer downloads the mobile application. 3, they use it. 4, the vendor modifies it. I looked at Candy Crush. They have 25 versions. 25. You know who's really making money in this model? The telco providers. Because all of the bandwidth plans are going up because of all the data that's coming down as a result of this model. And 5, the consumer downloads the upgraded application, or not, sometimes. And then the vendor ends up with help desk solutions where they've got a variety of different versions out there running on millions of devices, and they're trying to support their customers. So if you do have success, you've got this stuff on millions of devices, and the software literally resides on that device. I looked at this scientifically, and the average size of mobile applications is 25 meg. So you can do the math and figure out how data plans add up to 2 gig and 4 gig. We're going to see 8 gig as very standard, 12, 16, et cetera. It's just going to keep on going up in this architecture. So what's this thing called? Is this really how the IT industry would develop a mobile architecture? I don't think so. I call it Client Server 2.0. We have gone backwards. And we have allowed big players like Google and Apple to drive this architecture. There's no way I would ever have come up with an architecture like this. Do we remember the web-based architecture that was so nice? Apple and Google now have truly evolved to the second-generation marketplace that was AOL and Yahoo. It was the place to go. They controlled the content, and that's where it was. If you weren't on those marketplaces, you weren't getting it. This is where we are. The simplicity of web and the evolution to SaaS is being missed as an opportunity. So, where do we go from here? I'm proposing hybrid virtualization web for the IT industry to start doubling down and start developing some solutions without control of marketplaces, where we can actually put in architectures that benefit the organizations that actually are delivering products and services and benefit the customers. The customer doesn't care how it comes down. They just want to use it. What I propose is that we need to modify the HTML standard and put a virtualization engine inside that, or some kind of an engine container. And then you create your applications as a provider, and you leverage the web-based model. It's all the code is behind the firewall, the app servers, load balancers, web servers, database servers, all that good stuff. The code resides in one place. Everybody's running the same version. That was the premise of the web architecture. And why virtualization? We're doing this today. Historically, client-server drove the initial evolution of the virtualization market. We started virtualizing stuff because it was a pain in the neck to manage client-server applications all over the enterprise and now outside the enterprise. So virtualization, I believe, is the key as some kind of a presentation layer baked into the HTML5 or next generation standard, and the applications actually run as a virtual session on that client, delivered from the server farms, and run one version. One version of the truth. No more 25 versions on different devices with different flavors of operating systems, and then having to manage that from a customer success perspective or a help desk mechanism. Gone. So why not just SaaS? Why add virtualization? And the answer is because I want offline and online. We're not there yet in the virtualization market on true offline virtualization. There's a lot of progress that's being made in the leading vendors that are working on this. But I'm convinced it is the architecture and tool of the future if we can integrate it into the HTML standard and get away from client-server 2.0. We've got to get away from it. So we're running apps virtually on the client, offline and online, and when it comes back online and gets connected, the server knows and presents the next most recent current version and synchronizes the data. It's simple. One version of the truth for the code, and the client is easy because the customer doesn't care how it gets there. They just want to run it. So if we could redesign mobile today, we got a blank slate. No marketplaces, computer scientists and programmers and designers in rooms. How would we do it? Would we do it like this? Where you've got 1,580 updates pending on your app store with all these client devices and all this code and all that data traveling through those telco providers that are just hitting you with the bills? No. I believe we would do it with web virtualization that's hybrid. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference.